The New Day retain their Raw Tag Team titles against Cesaro and Sheamus. I feel like every single time I think New Day are going to lose, they win. They retain their titles. So I guess it's a good feeling to have in which you think the championships are in jeopardy. You should have that feeling every single time a champion puts their belt on the line. If you know they're going to win and it's that predictable, that's a problem. That's absolutely a problem. So maybe that's just me being a mark, but I thought this match was good. I think even better than their Hell in a Cell match even. I don't remember, but I thought it was a good match. New Day in the end retaining their titles by cheating to win, pinning Cesaro, and I think distracting the referee, and I think Kofi cheated, or someone cheated, I don't know. They kind of cheated, almost unintentionally, at Hell in a Cell. No one was really talking about that at the time. And they got booed then, too. I was there, and I heard them get booed. This was a bit louder. They were in Toronto, which is a hotter crowd, which is probably why. But the question in everyone's mind right now, are they turning New Day heel again? Which wouldn't be the worst thing, because they are better heels than they are babyfaces, in my opinion. But they do sell a lot of merch as babyfaces. They have the whole fucking cereal now. They sell T-shirts, Christmas shit. They got Christmas right around the corner. So I don't know. I guess they could turn him heel if they want to. It's not like, oh my god, look at all these matches they can now have with all the babyfaces on the Raw side of the tag team division. Really, other than Enzo and Cass, what other tag team matches can you do? You know, so I guess we'll say it, but I really don't care either way. But the big story here is that they did name drop Demolition before the bout. And for the first time on TV, I think all year, have the New Day mentioned Demolition in their record. They did mention the previous record that they broke of Kendrick and London becoming the longest reigning WWE Tag Team Champions of all time. But if they want to become the longest reigning Tag Team Champions of all time, period, in WWE history, the World Tag Team titles are now defunct, but Tag Team Champions, period, of any tag titles this company's ever had, they need to hold the belts for another, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. I think it's the week of Roadblock that they break the record. If they hold the belts till Roadblock, they've already broken the record. So, and that's where I think they drop the belts. Next week, they do defend the titles against the Club. So it was weird. I'm glad Club beat Golden Truth, obviously. But it was weird that New Day seemed to have turned heel here, or at least teased turning heel. And now they're facing a heel tag team next week on the show, which they will be cheered against. If it was Enzo and Cass, that's one thing, but it was the Club, so I don't know. That was a bit weird, but anyway, it was a good match. We'll see where it goes. I hope they retain tomorrow, because it got this far. If you're not going to break the record, then what the fuck was the point of them having them beat the Club as many times as they did? They beat the New Day. They beat the Club like drums. How many times over the summer? At SummerSlam, on Raw, at Clash of Champions. They beat them every single goddamn week, and you wonder why no one cares about these guys, about the Club. Because they lose all the time. They've been doing better recently. They won an 8-man tag team match last week. They beat the Golden Truth this week. They won a Hell in a Cell. I know they beat the New Day in Raw at one point. So they've been doing pretty well for the most part over the past couple of weeks, or at least since Hell in a Cell. But they need more wins. They need a lot more wins, in my opinion, to be rebuilt up to a point where they can be taken seriously as champions, challengers, whatever. So I hope, if they want to hold off till Roadblock to give the belts to Enzo and Cass, the Club, or even, in my opinion, they can call up Revival. You have New Day beat the Club this week on Raw. You call up the New Day, or rather the Revival, right afterwards, and you can do the Revival and New Day at Roadblock. It might be a bit too soon, like, oh my god, they're winning the belts their first night in, but I think it's different with Revival, just because they are a heel tag team. Like with American Alpha, yes, it would have been foolish to crown them the inaugural SmackDown Tag Team Champions, because there is money there in them chasing the titles for a while longer, which is why I think they will lose on Tuesday to Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, who they could eventually beat for the belts down the line. So I think that kind of writes itself. With the Revival, rather, they're a heel tag team. It's not that big of a difference, and they would get big heat, considering the New Day are still baby faces, hopefully. And if they are by Roadblock and Revival beats them, then they get big heat for not ending the record, but I don't want them to prevent New Day from breaking the record, but if they do beat New Day for the belts at Roadblock, you got a new heel tag team. You made 2 new stars in the Revival who are fucking awesome, who I talked about my TakeOver Toronto review last week. One of the best bouts all year, not only in NXT, but in the entire WWE, between DIY and the Revival last Saturday. Just amazing stuff. So, yeah, we'll see what happens on Monday.